Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Lego house and welcome to this third live session. My name is Emil and I'm a play agent here. Now, for the next hour, I will act as your host. But of course, I could not do this live session alone, so I want to introduce you to the team behind the camera. First, we have Maiken. She will be our chat moderator today. And here we have Astrid. She will be our producer today. Now your guys will be around 1,500 to 3,000 people watching. And you can ask all the questions that you might have, but keep in mind that with the sheer number of questions that come in, we cannot possibly answer all of them. But we will favor those that have something to do with what we tell about you here today. And lastly, I want to tell you that if you hear any background noise, that will simply be our guests since we open up to the guests in Lego House again. But I know you guys are excited, so I want to introduce you to our Lego historian, Christian Reiner. Welcome, Christian.
Hey everybody. So my name is Christian. I'm a corporate historian here at the Lego Group. So this is my pleasure for the third time to take you through a part of our history here in the history collection. And let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is something we have right over here. So if you will follow me over here, we can take a look. So I hope you can see a little bit of what's going on in this fantastic display right here. So we have our wheel here, which is something that we introduced here in 1962. We will not take credit for inventing the wheel, but we will take credit for inventing the Lego wheel. And in our sort of world, that's just as fantastic. So this is huge if you think about it, because what happens with the introduction of this wheel is that we add movement to the Lego system in play. So you have been able to make cars, build cars and trains and so on for many years, but you had to make the wheels out of square bricks, and that just doesn't offer a smooth ride, does it? So suddenly you can get all of these creations to actually move. So this adding movement to the Lego system in play is so huge for us. So that is really a fantastic introduction that Gottfred Kirk Christiansen, the second generation owner of the company. We've talked a lot about him last time for you guys that were attending that session as well. I just want to briefly mention that, yesterday, Gottfred would have been 100 years old. So happy birthday to Gottfred. So let's move a little bit further up. And I have a photo up here I want to show you guys. So we have this. Maybe some of you who attended last time can remember that I talked about that after introducing the Lego system in play, after we got the improved clutch power with introducing the Lego brick, this game changer for us in the late 50s, we start to grow a lot as a company. We set up sales companies in most of the European countries in the late 50s, early 60s. We enter the North American market, we enter Japan, and so on. So we really start to become a global company, and that means a lot of travel activities. So the management here from Billund has to travel abroad to visit all these new sales companies that we're setting up, and of course they also need to get a lot of visits from all these sales companies and customers from around the world. So lots of travel activity. And Gottfred, he's so fed up with the fact that they have to, travel to another town to take a plane to visit all these new sales companies and countries, and also when they get guests, they have to pick them up at another town and another airport. So what he decides to do is he decides to make his own little Lego airfield just north of Billund. So he sets up, and that's what we are looking at right here on this photo. And at first he buys a half share in a plane as well. Later on we buy our own Lego plane. So that's a huge game changer for that as well. So that's quite neat. This is the reason why today that we have an international airport here in Billund. It's the second largest airport in Denmark, and it's because of that idea that Godfred he introduced back in 1962. So I really like that. And then I have something I want to show you guys, because the next thing I want to talk about is let's see if I can get it here. So the year after, in 1963, we switch this with this. So I don't know if you can see the difference. Well, beside the obvious difference that one is white and the other is yellow. Red, of course. So the difference is that this brick is made out of a different plastic than this one. This is what we started out with. This is called cellulose acetate, and this one is ABS. So we make that switch in 1963, which is kind of forgotten in our history, but it is a really big step for us because the quality of ABS is so much higher than the quality of cellulose acetate. You might maybe even see it. It's this white one it's a little bit crooked because of the material. It sort of bends a little bit. So this was a really huge step for us, and for the quality of our bricks, that we introduced ABS as this red brick in 1963. Huge thing for us. Cool. Let's move up in time. I have plenty of cool stuff to show you guys. So we are moving up here because we are going to introduce another special thing for you guys, because in the 60s, in 1964, after introducing the wheel 2 years earlier, we introduced the first brick-built train that could move, because it had the wheels we had introduced 2 years earlier. So that is for the first time we introduced a brick-built train in our product portfolio. Of course, before then we had many wooden trains, right? Back when we also produced wooden toys. But now we get this new brick-built train that could move. And I don't know if you can see, but down here we have a blue train. It's the first battery-driven train, which we introduced in 1966, which is pretty cool. And then we also have at the top, and that is something I'm going to show you guys. We introduced another really cool product in 1968. It's one of my favorites. It's one of the most. I love to tell this story. So I want to show you guys something, and so I'm just going to step back into the shot here, and then I want to show you guys this. So in 1968, we introduced a box like the one we have in the background here, and among other things, there is this. Maybe you can see some knobs up here that says Lego. It's a Lego whistle. And it's amazing. It's so cool. And the really cool thing about the train we introduced with the whistle here, called electronic, was that if you blew the whistle, the train would start to move. It would start to drive forward. If you blew the whistle again, it would stop. Sound recognition in the late 60s. That's pretty cool. So the year after, in 1969, we even introduced a new version of the electronic train. And that version had the same functions. You could get it to drive forward, you could get it to stop. But using a different sound on your whistle, a shorter note, you could also get your train to reverse. I just love that. I would have loved to play with those trains back in the day. So again, all of this is because of the introduction of movement that is introduced with the wheel, introduced some years later. So cool. Let's move on. I have another really nice thing to show. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this photo we have right here. So what happens is that after this, internationalization of the company, again, we really start to have a lot of visitors here in our headquarters in Billund. And one of the things that they really like to see when they visit is they want to see our showrooms, where we show off, look what you can do with Lego bricks, where all our talented, product designers have had all these fantastic products that are on display. But it starts to interfere with our work because we have so many visitors, and it starts to annoy Godfrey a little bit, and he's like, I don't want to do that anymore. We need to do something different. So he decides, let's make a big outdoor showroom instead. That's much better, and then we can sort of have all the visitors there instead of interfering with our work in the company, in the factory. So the original idea is to create this large outdoors showroom. So in reality, what he's talking about here is, of course, the beginning of creating the Legoland Park. So the center of the Legoland Park here in Billund today is still the Miniland. So that was what the idea started out with. But after sort of introducing that idea, more ideas came, and when we, we added amusements, we added a train ride and other amusements as well. So when this, which started out as an outdoor showroom, when it opened in 1968, it was a full-blown amusement park here in Billund. So the one who have created all of these fantastic models that we're looking at here on this photo is our first master builder. Her name was Dagny Holm. She was a cousin to Godfrey, and she had been, some kind of an artist before that in Copenhagen, and then in the 60s she moves back here to Jutland and Billund and gets a job in the Lego Group, and she suddenly realizes this fantastic possibilities that we have with the Lego brick, and she figures out that you can create whatever you want to out of Lego bricks. At first she didn't like the squareness of the bricks, but she was used to working with clay and stuff like that. But she really sees the light, and starts to create these fantastic models. So she is the first master model builder that we have, and it's her and her team that creates all the fantastic models for the first Legoland Park. Really cool. So the next thing I want to show you is what we have right here. Maybe we can take a close up of these fantastic bricks. We have we have this fantastic products right here. We have these Duplo bricks, which is something we also introduced in the late 60s. It's the idea that we want to expand the Lego system in play. You know, we want more children to be able to play with our bricks and play with construction toys. So we want to allow the preschool children, the small children with the smaller hands, you know, to also play with the construction toys and use their imagination in numerous ways. So we create this fantastic larger brick called the Duplo brick. So this really allows the preschool children, and you know, where the stage they are at with their motor skills, you know, they can't build with the smaller Lego brick. That's at least very difficult for them. So this suits their motor skills so much better. And again, we introduce this in 1969. We have a test launch in Sweden in 1968. And then we introduced the brick in 1969. So the name is derived from the Latin word for double, which is duplex, and that's because that on all dimensions a Duplo brick is double the size of an ordinary Lego brick. So again, it's a part of the system. We also toy with some bricks that are 3 times the size and also 4 times the size. And the brick that are 4 times the size of a Lego brick is actually a brick that is later on briefly also introduced. You might know it, and it also has a name that sort of shows that it's called Quattro. Again, 4 times the size. But Duplo was here to stay and is still the gateway for children to learn about this fantastic Lego system in play. Cool. Let's move on. I have another photo I want to show you guys. So it's up here.